Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, everyone, for episode 421 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
And Tommy, this is a special one at 421. You know what that means.
It's one after 420.
That's what I was thinking.
All right.
See, we're on the same page already. This is probably going to be a really good one.
That 420 hangover ain't hurting us.
Ooh. Still trying to recover from that one. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're drinking a glass, just a cup of water over there.
Just flat, just still water over here.
Recover from it. This episode is brought to you by our great friends over at Build Fast Formula. You can check them out at buildfastformula.com. It's the supplements that we use. They have some of our personal favorites there. They have VasoBlitz, which is their dual nitric oxide support supplement. Kind of their non-caffeinated pre-workout supplement is how I consider it. They have Drink Hack, which is their hangover helper type supplement to if you're doing a little living easy night on the town, try that out, see if it makes you feel a little bit better the next morning than you would without it. Then they've got their Blitz 3D, which is their caffeinated pre-workout, and their Full Blitz, which is a combination of the nitric oxide support and the Blitz 3D supplement. And with any of the supplements, anything you purchase from them, you can use discount code Massenomics. It'll save you 10% for your entire order. You can also sign up for a subscription model on any of those products, save you an additional 10%. 10 plus 10 is 1,000% off. BuildFastFormula.com.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Tanner, sometimes things are just too good to be true, but they actually are true. And that is the Texas Power Bars $50 off flash sale is still going. It has not stopped yet. So if you are in the market for a Texas Power Bar, and let's be real with ourselves here. Let's be honest. You're always in the market for a Texas Power Bar. Now is a great time to buy because you can save up to $50 on a variety of bars, including the brand spanking new 29 millimeter Texas Power Bar. I've heard that it might just be possibly the best bar for your home gym. That's just what some people have told me on the internet. So if you would like to get a piece of the Texas Power Bar's legend, the Texas Power Bar, the 29 millimeter, the squat bar, the deadlift bar, any of them, make sure to head over to TexasPowerBars.com and take advantage of that sale. Thank you, Texas Power Bars.
Thanks, TPB. Okay, episode 421. We've got an exciting episode coming. We have a guest coming on, an Olympian, United States Olympian. Tommy, do you think have we ever had an Olympian on the pod? We've had
I was just going to ask
NFL players. We've had obviously a lot of World's Strongest Man competitors, power lifters. We've had American Gladiators.
I was going to say, of course, American Gladiator. That's pretty close.
Professional bodybuilders. We have people that compete at the Mr. Olympia.
I just typed in Massenomics Olympian just to see if those two keywords, anything popped up, and not seen anything. So this might be the very first time, which is honestly surprising to me.
Yeah. Mark that one off the list. It only took us to 421 episodes to get there, huh?
You don't get there until you do it. You never know what's going to happen. So that's why you got to do this for 400 plus weeks to really check all the boxes.
That's right. What's going to be next? I wonder who we'll get next.
I can hardly imagine.
Probably like The Rock, I suppose. I'm not sure if The Rock would be that interesting. He would not be on my list.
He just has his script that it's right. The Rock. Like The Rock is The Rock. Does he actually surprise? I feel like the only time he surprises people is when he tries to act like a normal guy, and they're like, "Oh, he's being kind of normal. He's off script."
Yeah, obviously, if The Rock messaged us tomorrow and said he wanted to be on the podcast, we'd squeeze it in somehow. Mm-hmm. But we pretty full and well smell what he's cooking by this point in time, I think.
We're all aware. But, with this whole new wrestling thing, I think he has changed up his...
Actually, that's actually probably is kind of a timely, interesting thing that he's got going on, too.
Mm-hmm.
But enough about The Rock. We're not having The Rock on this episode. We have a lot of other stuff coming up. Just even this week, I'm gonna be headed down to Crew Falls in like a day and a half from now. I'll be headed down to Crew Falls.
Less than 48 hours.
Yeah, we've got a big trip coming up. We're headed to Home Gym Con. If anyone hasn't heard by now, it's we have an official name for that now.
The South Dakota Hicks Visit French Lick for Home Gym Con 2024, brought to you by Bells of Steel.
Yes, that's it. I knew somebody here would know it. It wasn't me. It was you, though. So we're excited about that. We'll probably talk more about that this episode. But I actually listened to you. It worked out perfect since I never get to sleep at night or rarely get to sleep at night with kids.
You say at night
sick.
like you sleep during the day. Do you sleep during the day?
No. Let me be more specific. I don't really get to sleep.
Since I just don't sleep.
I'm like not nocturnal because that would mean you're awake at night and asleep during the day, but I'm actually working during the day. So I'm just like a combination of normal schedule and nocturnal, only none of the sleeping
just
times.
sans sleeping.
Yeah. So, but because of that, I literally listened to like your entire episode of you on a podcast from like 2 to 4 in the morning. I was able to.
I was on there. Okay, so to give some context here, actually, Tanner, maybe you can tell the first part of the story. I believe Huck Finn reached out to you, didn't he?
Yeah, he reached out. This was just. When was this now?
Sunday night. Sunday night. Yeah.
Yeah, and asked about being on the Huck Finn Barbell Show, which I guess you pointed out I have never been on the Huck Finn Barbell Show. I didn't
think you had, but
it's in my head for some reason I thought I had been like 4 times. But I guess I actually haven't been on there at all.
It said it was 0.
Yeah. And I said, well, I actually can't tonight. I've got something going on, but here's Tommy's number. Why don't you hit him up? And I assume from there he hit you up.
Yeah. So I was outside talking to my neighbor and my phone was ringing, so I didn't bother to look at it. And then like a half hour later I look and it's from a phone number I don't recognize, and they left a voicemail, which is not totally normal. So I look at the voicemail and it's, hey, Tom, this is Tom. Need you on the podcast tonight. Call me. Bye. Like, oh, I see what's going on here. So I text him and I said, I'm putting kids to bed. Can we do this later? And he's like, yeah, we don't need you till 8:45. So that worked out perfect. And they needed me for the Huck Finn Barbell Show. And my first time on the show, it worked out great. Just popped down here, hit the lights on. We're all ready to go. And we had a nice little chat. It was Huck Finn and the White George Foreman at first. And then Karen came on and we got to talk all about Home Gym Con and what to expect. And we talked about Massenomics a little bit and Midwest living, South Dakota living, and just a variety of things. So it was a fun show.
I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really good. I like Keith. Keith, of course, had listened to it, and in the Discord, he said, I loved it. It was a Home Gym Con preview, and nobody knew anything about Home Gym Con.
Well, when you've never been there, it's hard to say what it's gonna. It's like, well, last year
like
there was
describing the Arnold when you've never been there before.
But even the Arnold, there's so much stuff that comes out of it. It's like, well, yeah, last year there was a few vendors, and I don't know, some people went to it. There's not like this just overabundance of content sitting out there on it, where this is like, I'm not honestly 100% sure what I'm getting into. I think it's a lot bigger than what there was going on last year, so we'll see.
We will see. But no, do check out the Huck Finn Barbell Show. That was pretty fun. I like he asked you those questions he asked. We've been asked those before.
Yes, and I knew instantly it was coming, and I also realized instantly that he did not remember them at all.
Yeah, and he kept being like, no, you've never asked them. And he eventually realized, he's like, wait a second, I'm pretty sure we've done this. That was funny. You got a little anything you're drinking over there today, or what?
You know what? We actually ran out of sparkling water, so I just had to go with regular.
Flat?
I just had to go with regular flat water tonight.
That doesn't sound bubbly. I've got something I've never had before. I just popped into my refrigerator today.
Well, okay, before you even say anything, I see a pink can, and if this was Canada, that'd be cream soda right now. Are we in Canada?
But thankfully, in the good old
US of A.
Well, I thought this was America. In America, pink means something like tropical fruit, Waterloo.
As it should.
Yeah. Although cream soda would be good. I'd take a Canadian cream soda. So this is a Waterloo tropical fruit. Picture of pineapple. and maybe a mango and a grapefruit on it, I believe. So
very
I don't know
tropical.
I don't know what we're gonna experience on this one.
Tropical pamplemousse.
I have never had a sparkling water that tastes quite like this one.
Oh, wow.
This is a unique flavor.
Okay. When you think they've done it all, we find more.
That's pretty good. That's a
Okay.
good change of pace sparkling water on the tropical fruit.
Waterloo.
It almost is like a sparkling water Hawaiian punch.
Oh. That does sound pretty good.
I was at work in a meeting today in one of our conference rooms, and like at some of the ends of the conference rooms, there's often like snacks or like lunches or snacks from prior meetings or whatever, and like there was a giant thing of Hawaiian punch there, and just like it caught my attention just during the middle of the meeting, and I just caught myself wandering on like
your mouth was just watering onto the table.
I was just thinking, when was the last time I've drank a sip of Hawaiian punch?
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
Was it in one of those
what?
giant plastic jugs?
Yeah, like that one that almost has like
the
a little
handle on
handle
it.
on it. Yeah. And I'm just like, I know what that tastes like, I feel like, but I haven't had that for so long. And then I just was thinking of their little mascot. on
What
the
is
Hawaiian
that
punch,
even?
yeah.
What?
I don't know. That's what
Because he has
That's what
that
I would-
weird red hat thing on, doesn't he?
Yeah, these are the things that were that I was entertaining my mind with.
So
other than
needless
what
to
I
say,
should've
it was a very important meeting.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm looking at this guy right now, this Hawaiian punch. I have no clue what he has. A blue and white striped shirt, and his hair is red. And is that just supposed to be his hair? I can't. Well, here they have like a 3D render. It almost looks like he has something on his head because he has hair underneath it. Is it supposed to be a shell of some kind, and then it's laying on his head?
Is that what Hawaiian people look like?
I'd say no.
Yeah, it looks really old when I look at it now. I'm like, that looks like it was drawn in like 1948.
Well, some of these look very late 80s, early 90s, though. Very of the time. Yeah, I don't know if I couldn't tell you the last time I had Hawaiian punch, though. It's well over 10 years ago.
I'd give this Waterloo Tropical Fruit a 4.0.
Wow.
It's pretty good. It's good. It's flavorful.
That's on my to-buy list now.
I would say people need to try this one out.
I tried a little something out tonight. Would you like to know what that is?
Yeah.
The old Pizza Ranch buffet.
Gosh, I was just thinking about that. I posted a Pizza Ranch song in the Discord a couple weeks ago too, because I'm like, I haven't been to Pizza Ranch for years, and I'm like, I feel like some of my kids, like my kindergartner, has probably never been to Pizza Ranch in her life, and it's like she might be prime Pizza Ranch.
Our boy loves Pizza Ranch,
Yeah.
especially because the one here has an arcade in it, so he knows when he gets done he can go play games.
For sure.
So that's he always wants to go, and we went when we got a bunch of snow. Would that have been January maybe? Because I remember it was like this crazy blizzard, and it felt like we were just braving the elements to get some Pizza Ranch. But we went. It was pretty good. It was fine. Like it's fine.
Do you feel good or like shit when you get done?
I feel like shit, but I also just force fed myself as much pizza as I possibly could, which
you got to get your money's worth of it.
Oh, exactly. And then it's like, well, I'm here, so I got to do some cactus bread, and then they have brownies there, so I'm gonna eat brownies, and then I better eat some ice cream too because I'm here, so I got to do it all, and then I do feel like garbage afterwards.
I want to go there. Just when I was thinking about it, I think if I went anymore, I am becoming an old man in the way that I don't even want the pizza. I just want the fried chicken that they have, because their fried chicken is good.
I think I've done enough firsthand experimentation to know that the fried chicken is what messes me up. Like I gotta be.
You think that? Yeah. Like you think it's like the grease?
I think it's the grease from the skin. Because today I actually went with just some. Normally I could just go with the legs, and
it's like it's what messes you up the most. At least.
It is. It's what does the most damage. Because normally I'll just, it's like chicken leg. All right, just keep those things going. So I'm like, no, I'll do the chicken breast and skip the skin, and I felt better than I normally do. Which isn't saying a lot.
Chicken breasts are good though.
Oh, they are. It is.
Good.
It's large. It's juicy. Yeah, I got to give them credit. And then you get the potatoes and gravy, so you can just get some gravy on that thing too.
Right. There's like a limited. I like fried chicken quite a bit, and there's just in Western Northeast South Dakota anymore. I always just feel like there's a limited number of places that you can go and get good fried chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Like so often you can go to like the grocery store delis and like 50% of the time it's terrible. Like it's been there for like
for so long. It's just
right.
And then people that probably have access to actual good fried chicken are laughing at us right now, but
right.
you got to work with what you got, man.
We purely we legitimately don't have access to good fried chicken. Like, but actually, Pizza Ranch is really good though. You could put that like on a menu at a decent fried chicken, at a decent restaurant, and I'm not saying it's like I don't know wherever fried chicken is made the best. I'm sure there's much better versions, but like it's passable. Like
it is
fried chicken there. Yeah.
Our guest is already here, Tanner. I don't know if we want to do some other
Should
things
I read
quick,
one?
Or
should I read one ad?
Yeah,
here?
why don't you? And I'll get
the
guest ready here.
Okay, and then we'll do the other ads and our supporting members and stuff after our guest. We'll get to the meat and potatoes of this episode, if you will. But this episode is also brought to you by Juggernaut AI. And I was looking there. We had a good testimonial actually in our Discord earlier today.
That was a great testimonial. I was like, you need to screenshot that and send that to Chad.
Yeah, I saw Biggest Brad. Big Brad of Michigan, I think, right? Big Brad out of Michigan. He has been using Juggernaut. He's a Massenomics supporting member. He's active in our Discord crew. We saw him at the Arnold this year, and he goes, ran my Juggernaut mock meet yesterday. Hit a 225 bench, which his elbow is in rehab. But then he said he hit a 345-pound squat, which is a 30-pound PR, and a 465-pound deadlift, which is a 45-pound improvement. Yeah. Then he says Jug AI works for any of you that are on the fence about it, because we do have people that come up with questions quite a bit. And, overwhelmingly, I think that's the answer that a lot of people get from people in our Discord is that, yes, you absolutely should try it.
Trust the process.
Yeah. So also congratulations, Big Brad, on the progress.
Yeah.
Thanks for using Juggernaut AI. If anyone else wants to check it out, try it out, go to the web browser, punch in a browser, go to juggernautai.app. That's the only place you can use the discount code. You can't use it through the app. So go to the web browser, use discount code Massenomics, saves you 10% for the lifetime of the membership.
Should we get our guest on?
Bada bing. We are here with DeAnna Price, Olympian hammer thrower, world record holder, American record holder. That's part of what we want to talk to you about is, it seems like there's several records and we don't understand maybe all of them. So we want you to tell us, what are your records?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's start there then. So what's your, is it hammer throw? Is that your primary event then?
So primary event is the hammer throw. So it's an 8.8-pound ball on a 3-foot 11-inch wire. And I actually hold the second farthest throw ever in the world at a 80-31. And Anita Wojdarczyk, she's the world record holder at 82.98.
And for people that don't know, that's in meters.
Yes.
So it's a really, and none of us know what that is in feet. I think unless you're from another country.
It's the length of a football field. It's about
Right.
200, and I throw it 264 feet 6 inches, I believe.
That's a long ways.
Okay. So, but to explain a little bit of the hammer, like I said, it's a 8.8-pound ball on a 3-foot 11-inch wire. I always kind of gauge it to, the weight of a cast iron skillet. Or the weight of a brand new baby being born. I can generate up to 70 miles per hour within 2 seconds, and throw it almost the length of a football field.
Yeah, and for anyone that doesn't know, here's what I would add to it just to help people visualize it. It's if anyone's ever, shot put and discus are more common, but is it the same size ring or is it a larger ring? You're on like a concrete ring.
So it is the exact same ring as a shot put.
Okay. And it's like you said, it's the wire hammer, so it's actually like it's not rigid, correct? It's
it's very smooth. It's attached to a swivel, and it has like a nice little hand. Like it's actually a number 9 wire.
Okay.
Like farmers wise.
Yeah.
And it's a number 9 wire attached with a handle.
How much could the best hammer that you could buy, how much would one cost?
Mine, actually, I just bought this week. It was $1,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, it hurts.
Ah.
Especially whenever you cage it sometimes, a little bit of your soul dies a little bit.
I'm assuming
Oh
that-
yeah,
that
you
means
chuck
hitting
it into the
cage.
into the cage. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it rips out. You're just like,
So is it made of? Is the ball? Is it made of steel or brass or what is?
so there's a lot of different I guess forms. So they have some that are brass, some that are tungsten. They have different ways and different brands. So I primarily use Polanic. They have Nishi, which is a Japanese brand. And then there's Gill, there's Dominator Athletics. There's a lot that's out there. It's kind of your preference. I like the Polanic. It's a little bit more bottom heavy, and it just kind of pulls me in a better rotation. Where with the with the Nishi, it feels really light, but I don't get any direction. So it doesn't. If you can't move with it, can't really go anywhere.
So when you go
Right.
to a meet, like you are supplying your own hammer for this, like that.
So for any we call it kind of warm up meets. So what I did just last weekend was kind of like a warm up meet, but any big international meets, as in Olympic Games, World Championships, they provide the hammers for you. You can add in yours if they do not have it, but it has to be an IAAF regulated implement. So it's basically they have to go through this huge process, and it costs like $40,000. We don't have to pay it, but like the company, like Polanic, Nishi, and everybody, to get it certified so it can be on that list. So if they don't have that there and they didn't provide the implement that I wanted, I could bring my IAAF regulated one. It'd have to go through inspection, but if everything like checks off, it's good to go, and then I can use my own implement.
Okay, so like when you go to a big meet, they're like, assuming they're all provided, they're like just sitting on the ground waiting for you to grab the one you want when it's your turn to throw. Is that basically how it
Yeah, I
works?
mean, and it's free game. So even if I bring in my own event ball, like anyone can use it at any time.
Okay.
And it kind of sucks because
Yeah.
Yeah.
you just sit there, you're like, oh, don't use
Yeah.
it.
You're like, yeah, actually stay away from that one. I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
was
spit
like,
on
you
that
take
one.
it, you kind of like hold it to the side. You're like,
Yeah.
kind of mean mug them sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, your second best throw ever in the world in that event. And what was is this right? You're the first US woman to ever medal in any world championship throw event. Is that right?
Yep, that is correct.
So, that's awesome, but I was also kind of like surprised by that. So have US women for throws not been as competitive with some of the other countries worldwide, or like why
So
would that
we
be?
definitely were a little bit not as progressive. It was definitely ran more by, the Germans, the
Okay.
Polish, and it's still extremely competitive. But the US it took a little bit for us to kind of get going. And I think it's because they start really, really young. We don't start hammer throw typically until we are in, I'd say, our freshman year in college. So we start very, very late in the game when others are starting at 10, 13 years old. So we definitely are a little late in the game, but now, kids are getting more exposure. Things are like clubs, they're getting better. I didn't start throwing the hammer till about a month and a half before college of training. And I was actually going to go to school to play softball, but they took softball out of the Olympic Games. And I thought, what the heck, I'm going to give this track thing a go. And here I am today. But now it's crazy because now I think we've medaled. Since my first time ever medaling in 2019, I won the gold. And now from then, I own 2 of the 5 medals ever won. So I'm excited about that. But out of the US, now we have 5.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. That's awesome. That's pretty cool, of course. Yeah, so we were talking about the Olympics, and so have you gone to 2 Olympic Games?
I have.
So far?
Yep.
Obviously that's pretty cool. Like how cool is it? Like, is it like the coolest thing ever, or what? I
It
assume
is,
it's pretty
it is
awesome.
actually pretty cool. So what I've
Yeah.
always learned is, so I went to Rio, which it seems like every time I go to Olympic Games, there's some some crazy thing. So it was Zika.
Okay.
So everyone, I mean, I think I had 20 cans of bug spray and I was like spraying everywhere. But I definitely was terrified. But that was my first, let's see, first Olympic team was Rio. I placed 8th. And then I ended up making the team in Tokyo as actually the gold favorite. But I ended up at Olympic trials when I threw 80 a week before at practice. I came down on a turn and I felt a pop in my ankle. And I actually snapped the tip of my fibula, tore my 3 tendons, fractured my talus. And then I already had a torn hip labrum. So when the ankle went, the hip went. So throwing 80 meters was like great. And we didn't know until after the games. I was in great shape, on a broken ankle through 80-31. And I ended up going to Tokyo. But after the Olympic Games, things just got worse. And it was the worst pain I've ever been through in my whole entire life. It was probably the most crushing because, I've been to the games before. I've medaled in every major event. I've won gold in everything. And I had to change my mindset from gold to, can I throw this today? And that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And luckily my husband, who's my coach, was fantastic. And he's like, take it day by day, minute by minute, and we will get through this. And thankfully, the meet wasn't back to back. So when I qualified, I was in excruciating pain. But then luckily I had a day to kind of rest, keep my foot up. And then I threw on the finals day and placed 8th again at the Olympic Games on a broken ankle. So now this year's my redemption year. I'm needing this.
So are you 100%? I mean, as far as that's been a while ago now. I mean, are you as physically strong and, as far as the injury is concerned, is it in the rearview mirror then, or?
It is definitely even right now, I'm in Indiana right now at actually my physical therapist's home because we have an early appointment tomorrow. It is constant. It is. So I had to do complete ankle reconstruction surgery, a complete, labrum repair and reshaping. And, I have to definitely credit this to the Build Your Base program because of course, when you're not training, you're thinking, okay, I shouldn't be eating as much. And where it's complete opposite, where, Sanford had an article in the Build Your Base program, and it was about you should actually be eating more. So I weighed in at 235 pounds, and they were saying that you need to be eating probably 260 grams of protein a day because your body is just constantly repairing and trying to heal. So I 100% give a lot of credit to them and my physical therapist here, Brian Murr, because I came back from complete ankle reconstruction, hip labrum repair. I had that in, the end of August, and then September was my 2 surgeries. And I came back in 8 months and threw 73.09 and made the world team in Eugene, Oregon. So I was super excited. It was awful. It was the worst pain ever, but it was amazing. And it was definitely an eye-opener to me of really kind of focusing on my nutrition and what I put into my body. I feel like that was just that extra 5% this season. So for me, there's always going to be a little, when it gets cold, you still have a little bit of pain sometimes here and there, but it's staying on it and making sure what you're putting in is what you're going to be getting out in your event.
Yeah. Well, and we have a connection on that too, actually. And well, first of all, I don't know if you know this, but we call everyone Big, and it's a compliment. So I was just gonna say Big Susie, but if you don't know, we call everyone Big. You might not. That might throw you off. But Big Susie, and then Big Mo, is in our club, in our gang, and he is lifting at our event this summer. But last year, Build Your Base was a sponsor of our powerlifting meet, an event that we put on in South Dakota. So hopefully we get them on board again. But I don't know everyone listening might not exactly understand, but like, what is the Build Your Base program? And you've kind of been affiliated with them for a while, it sounds like, then too.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been with them since the Olympic season of 2021, I guess like 2020. But it's definitely talking about the whole plate. It is not only just focusing only on beef, but it's actually you got to plate first protein and then you build from there. And for me as a female, I know a lot of athletes, especially girls, they're afraid to eat. I'm afraid to get big. I'm afraid to get bulky. And to me, the Build Your Base program kind of just has so much information. And it's not just for, elite athletes. It's for kids, which that for me is huge because how do you know to get to that next level unless you start when you're younger? And that's something that I missed out. And that's why I had so many injuries. I had, torn ligaments, broken back, torn knee, broken shoulder. I've had so many things, but that's because I wasn't fueling properly. Now actually eating all this and doing the correct, and they have so many recipes online. And what's great is that I'm trying to get more of the kids and schools involved with it. And Susie, with the Build Your Base program, she'll bring us out and I can talk to kids. We even go to like nursing homes and everything. And because it is a program not just for elite athletes, but it's from the start to the end. And that to me is the biggest thing, because I know I'm not forever going to be a thrower but doing what, their program on hydration. And, I had lost a kidney whenever I was 5. And so for me, like, sugar intake, if I eat something, it's like me eating like 2 things of, cupcakes. It's just my body doesn't process it correctly. And they were very, very informative and just very, very, very sweet. And it's a program that I very much treasure. And I tell all the girls, please eat beef. You need red meat, honeys. You need it. If you want to get gains, you got to eat the beef.
Yes. Well, I should know this, but I don't really. We're from South Dakota, and I saw even, is Build Your Base a nationwide program? But it's like something's tied specifically to South Dakota though too, right?
So it started with the Beef Council. So it started in just like right out of the backyard. It like Susie and Holly brought it just from the ground up, and it has taken off too. Then it was South Dakota Beef, and then now it's turned into an amazing nonprofit organization all around the country. Like so many schools are involved in it, and it's just something that I just adore dearly, because it's taken off. It has grown so rapidly, and the benefits that I'm seeing not only in myself, but I'm seeing in my athletes that I train at, the University of Illinois. And I just kind of tell them, like, I just leave paperwork out. I'm like, let's just read this, see how you feel about it, and it's amazing. And I'm like, hey, here's a link. If you want to go take a look at it, there you go, your choice. And it's amazing that, they sit there and they're like, oh, I didn't realize that, I should be eating this much. And we have a fantastic nutritionist at the university that I work at. And, the kids they're doing great things. And then I'm seeing it, in high schools, and, just, it's been a great, great program all around the country for littles to pros.
Yeah. Awesome. Tommy, we were talking about the track and field meet, and you knew what did you call it?
So I've I'm no track and field expert. I enjoy, I've noticed more of it being on TV these last few years, and the thing that I've seen pop up multiple times now, I believe, is the Diamond League. Correct? Is that?
Yes.
So what is, because my far away understanding of it is it's kind of like almost like a pro series, maybe. Is that what it is?
So it is a pro series. Unfortunately, the women's hammer throw is not in the Diamond League.
Oh, it's not.
I know, I'm so bad about it.
Oh, dang. Okay.
I know. So it's called kind of like a hammer challenge. I get a little jelly because at the end, after all your Diamond Leagues, you get this amazing trophy. It has a glass diamond on top. And I just sit there. I was like, I want that so badly. Like, why couldn't I be a shot putter?
Yeah. Okay. So shot put is an event in it.
Yeah, it's shot put, discus. I think like pole vault. There is, I think, 3 events that are not in the Diamond League, and the hammer, unfortunately, is one of them.
So why is it just for the sake of competitors or time, or like what's the reasoning there?
I say time, but to be honest, like, we throw really well. Like,
Right. Yeah. It's not. Yeah.
really well.
Yeah.
Maybe you can make time for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally, I'm hoping that we will be in the future, invited into a diamond, at least start us out as like an expedition, and then kind of going from there.
Yeah.
So is something like that though? Is that a newer development as far as like track and field is concerned though, like Diamond League, or has that been around a while?
I think it's just the sport has actually really grown in the United States. So internationally, I mean, here, in Budapest, where we were last year, there was just, I couldn't walk anywhere without people actually recognizing me, which here in the States, camera throw, it's not something that people really notice. Or, we have basketball, we have football,
Right.
we have different sports. But I think the sports like track and field in the United States is growing very, very rapidly, very quick. And yeah, I'm excited about it. And hopefully it grows even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned Budapest. And so like I said before, we're from South Dakota. We're the Mount Rushmore state. And with everyone we have on, we like to play this Mount Rushmore game. So we would like to get, you've been to a lot of cool places, just even looking through your list of meets, like all over the world basically at this point. But what would be your Mount Rushmore of venues that you've traveled to for meets? So your top 4 kind of that stick out to you as just like awesome experiences or places.
So Budapest is probably actually my number 1. I love Budapest. The goulash was amazing. And they love throwers. So usually it's always runners and they love the 100.
Yeah.
But on the stadium, they actually had like a hammer thrower on the stadium, like the wraparound. And it was the coolest thing. And they had like this huge hot spring in the area. And you could just go there and it's just a big pool and all the people are there. And to me, the people were just very genuine, really kind, and just an amazing, amazing, amazing people. And so number 1 is definitely going to be Budapest. I loved it. I would go back to Hungary anytime, especially for the goulash. That was delicious.
Yeah.
And then I would say Japan. I love Japan. The people there, I mean, every time you walk around, it's just like, konnichiwa. I mean, it was definitely an eye-opener, because that was one of my first international meets that people actually knew who I was. And, my first year throwing, they were telling my numbers from, the very first year I had a competition. And they're like, you've grown from this to this to this. And, how did you do it? And I'm new as well. And I'm like, I don't know. I just get in there and I throw the thing. But I absolutely love Japan because the culture and the people. We went to, because it was the training camp in Japan, and I got to meet Koji. And Koji he's like one of the best hammer throwers in the world. This guy could like move his individual spine, just his body control was ridiculous. And I got to meet him, and that was like a dream come true. And we ended up going to like the summer palace there, and just the beauty of that country was phenomenal. And another great one, man, I was like, I love Doha, Qatar, but it was hot, man. It was like 145.
Yeah, that's a warm one.
Good. But the stadium was amazing because it was it's an open stadium, but it was air conditioned. And I mean,
that doesn't seem very efficient.
Like, did it work though? Like, did it actually cool it?
It was so outside I was sweating. I had to drink over, I think it was, how many gallons? I drank about 2.5 gallons a day of water, just because if not, I was just losing weight. I couldn't hold it on, and I was just sweat. Like, you'd sit there and you'd just be sweating. I don't think I left that building, the hotel one time that whole entire trip. We had an attachment to the mall, and I just like,
Yeah.
and the women, like, it's great country, but you couldn't wear like tank tops. You had to wear,
Right.
Yeah.
like, he was covered, and I'm so hot the whole time. My husband there just has this little tank top, walking
Just
around,
living the life.
yeah. But that was probably one of the coolest moments because of winning the first ever medal in the event. But
Yeah.
and the food was pretty fantastic. But no, every place I've gone to has just been amazing. Just the people that I've met and the cultures that I've experienced. But I'd say those are probably my top 3 as of right now. Probably Hungary is definitely my number 1. They definitely won my heart over there.
Yeah.
So
It was the
amazing.
goulash.
The goulash.
Yeah.
So good.
Okay, that's cool. Where's this is a dumb question, but where's the next Summer Olympics?
So it is in Paris, France.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Okay, so we're kind of into, I mean, we're very into powerlifting, strongman, stuff like that, and mostly like a lot of our listeners, they're into that stuff, or maybe they're just like gym nerds. They got home gyms, or they go, they haven't not been to the gym for 4 days a week for the last like 12 years and that sort of thing. And the gym is obviously a big part of your training process. Your lifting is obviously important. It's not your primary goal isn't to see how much your 1 rep squat max is, I suppose. But what I would say, we saw a couple of your lifts that you've posted before, and one of them, I think the one squat was like 455 for a set of 5, and sometimes it looks different than it feels, but it did not look hard. I mean, it looked like you
had
could have
10
done
pretty easy. Yeah.
Yes. So what are some of your like that, for example, weights or number of rep sets, the certain weights that stick out to you that you've done before?
Absolutely. I actually wrote them down for you guys because I was
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
Give me two. All right. So in college, when I threw shot, my bench was 350.
Wow.
That is a lot.
That's
And it's full. Now I have like wrist wraps, of course.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't matter. Yeah.
okay. How many years ago was this? When were you in college?
It was 2016. So right now
But-
I do about 220.
But still, even then, like it has so women's powerlifting has changed a ton in the last 10 years. But at that time, the number, you would have been in such a rare club of women benching over 340. Like that, I mean, is there a few in the world at that time? Maybe, Tanner?
That's what I don't even know how many now really bench that much. Actually,
Wow.
I was just actually looking at some of the records here while we're talking, because that is a lot.
That one's actually really just like caught me off guard here. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Pushed me is we had an incoming freshman, and she's actually the Olympic silver medalist in Tokyo. Her name's Raven Saunders. She benched 400 as a freshman.
What?
Crazy. It blew my mind, and I was like, I can't let a freshman beat me.
Wow.
She's super good. Yeah, she ended up breaking like the NCAA record. It's just wonderful. She was great. And
There's a couple of records out there in the 400s, but almost all of them are still in the 300s. Yeah. Okay.
And then hang clean. I can hang clean and catch. I do use straps because we gotta save the hands.
Yeah.
325.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
And my max that I've done on box clean, I believe, is 160 kilos.
So it'd be like
320 plus
350-ish.
355. Yeah.
And then back squat, I've done 465 for 6.
Yeah.
And then my front squat, I'm very proud of. I've done 500.
Wow.
Whoa. That's
That's
crazy. That's
So when you're doing a max out on your front squat, what are you going elbows up? Do you cross it? Oh, you do
I go elbows up.
Okay.
So I actually hold with only 2 fingers.
Yep, with the 2 yeah.
And
yeah.
I set it right there, and I just puff out the shoulders.
Yeah.
I hold the brace, and my husband, he just sits there. He's like, up and down,
Yeah.
down, Deanna. So, and if we go all the way down,
I feel like you could back squat 600 pounds. Like,
Yeah. Well,
don't you think so?
Single. I've
Right.
kind of sit there and try to like convince him to let me do it. He was like,
There's really no reason to. I totally get why you wouldn't,
Yeah.
but we're just like, since we're in that world, we're always just really curious about the numbers. Like there's no. I'm sure there's obviously no benefit for you to do that other than it's just fun to talk, like it's just fun.
yeah.
But the risk to reward probably isn't all that worth it either necessarily. So
I was like, it's definitely I love weightlifting. I think it's just something really, really fun. And what we try to really do is like how fast can we move it?
right.
So I just did 308 on hang cleans and for 5, and I moved it at 1.8 meters per second.
So are you using like is it a Tendo unit or whatever those?
Yeah,
Okay.
like the Tendo unit to track. And to me, it's about like anything that I can keep over 0.75 is usually 1.75 is what we're gauging for.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys are watching this really close. Like it's not to like, oh, let's just feel it out and see how things go.
No,
Like,
like it's how fast can I move this weight? It is, and then if it drops under, it's like nope. Take off a 5. Your body, it's basically manipulating your central nervous system and trying to, get that to kind of take off.
Would you say is that the most important metric then is the speed that you're moving it at? Like, and that's how you gauge from there?
Yeah, it's mass moves mass. How fast can you move this? Because whenever you're going so fast spinning, it is like you are holding it. To me, it does feel like a 500-pound front squat that you're holding position because it's trying to pull you and you're just trying to hang on for dear life. And if I can hold position correctly and on the squat, then usually it transfers over into my lifting.
Yeah.
And into my throw.
So, okay, no doubt you've put insane amounts of work and time into getting strong, but before you even started, would you have classified yourself as like a stronger person, like in the first place? Like, has strength come naturally to you, or was it like, no, you didn't have anything and you really built from zero here?
So I have always been extremely competitive. So I have 2 older brothers and I hated getting beat up by them. So it was always constant me trying to, get we'd always be wrestling. And then finally I remember my dad got this just like, the typical like machine downstairs that has, like the bice, like doing this.
Kind of like a Bowflex or something.
Deck, right.
I remember I just started just lifting and I just thought, how cool. Okay, let me go a little more. And then to the point where I started being able to just pick up my brothers and one's 6 years older, one's 3 years older. I've never been small. I think, I've always been very, very broad. I've always had biceps. And I just remember, it's like, how much weight can I lift? And so I just always really enjoy it. My mom, she actually held the, she actually broke, she didn't break, but she won a couple like arm wrestling competitions.
Oh yeah.
Like my dad has always just had like raw strength carrying concrete. And to me, it's just, I've always liked to lift weight, but I think it's because my parents never put a limitation on me. And they're like, you get the best of both worlds. You get to be the girl and you get to be the athlete. If a guy can lift this, yeah, he has, testosterone. He's going to probably outlift you, but you can give him a run for your money.
Maybe. I'm not really, actually not all that commonly is a guy going to outlift you, to be fair. Are your brothers as strong as you are now today? Like, could they do a 500-pound front squat?
No. I love them both to death, but, I think that gives them some time. They definitely,
That is a lot, though. There's not a lot of people that can do a 500-pound front squat. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Your husband is your coach. How is that a thing?
So he actually was.
Wait, how is he your husband or how is he their coach?
No, how is he your coach? Tommy and I are both married happily and have been for a long time, and I'm just thinking, that would take a really special relationship for that to like work out well all the time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It puts its own challenges. He
Yeah.
is probably the most amazing person I've ever met in my whole entire life. So
And you
he-
have to say that because he's your coach. So you could,
the best of both worlds. But there is times I like sometimes. But he was a senior when I was a freshman when I came into college.
And where did you go to college at?
Southern Illinois University of Carbondale.
Okay.
Salukis.
okay.
And they were #1 throws program, and they had a fantastic accounting program. And so
Now you're talking Tanner's language.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Bean-
what double degree in
bean
accounting and
bean
management,
counting.
minor in business law. I wanted to be a forensic accountant, actually.
Oh, that's like Ben Affleck in some movie. I can't remember what movie.
Yeah,
it is,
I've
but
seen
yeah.
that movie too. What is that one?
Right.
Oh, it's so good. But to me, like I always like finding missing pieces and coach. So, I was under John Smith and Connie Price Smith. And so JC was always there. So we started dating the end of my freshman year. And he just had this mindset that, what I thought I was doing was never actually I thought I was doing enough. But he always kind of like gave me that insight that, you're missing little pieces here and there. And I'd see him, I would be like, I want to go for like a 5-mile walk. And he's like, hey, you got to practice. Let's not do that. And how about we eat protein? How about we sit and chill? How about we mental rep what we're going to do today? And he was actually a thrower as well. And he was a heck of a good, he was a really good shot putter. He ended up getting a gangling cyst in his wrist that he had to get removed. So then he transferred over to the hammer. And he threw, like 72 meters, and he was actually training with me. So I was a junior in college. He was a volunteer assistant coach at the time under John Smith. And it always makes me cry talking about this, that, he gave up his Olympic dream to coach me because my coach left. So he gave up training so he could coach us kids that were left behind. And because I didn't want to go to Ole Miss. I wanted to, finish my degree where I started. And
Right.
that was kind of where I wanted to be. And I just remember feeling so guilty that he gave up his dream for me. And the best thing, whenever I made the Olympic team is I was like, I'm sorry that, you had to give up your time to coach me. And he was like, you made my Olympic dream a reality. I get to go with you. And we have been do or dies ever since. He is just this, he is like the analytical force to be reckoned with, that when his mind is set to something, he is going. And there is times at practice, and I will say it's funny because some of the kids, because I still I'm a volunteer coach at the University of Illinois now with him. And some of the kids will be like, I wish you could be as hard as, like how hard you are as DeAnna. And I'm like, no, you know what? I was like, there's days like it does. It gets really intense, and it's hard not to bring it home. That's the key. And what's nice is that, he's very strict, very goal oriented at practice, but when he's at home, he's a goofy goober, and we get to just enjoy each other. And if we do have to discuss about training, it's either we're doing it at the field or there's a specific room in the house that we will discuss about training. And there's days that he needs to vent and talk, and I let him cross that boundary line. There's days I'm just like, oh, I don't want to talk about throwing anymore. And he is such a student of the sport. And I was like, that's probably why I've done this and done it so well, is I'm a dumb dummy when it comes to it. Because to me, like when I leave, I was like, I'll do the right things. I'll make sure I'm taking, my magnesium, protein. I'm doing everything that I need to, but I don't want to think about throwing. I was like, because when you're trying to, it's just kind of forcing, a square peg in a round hole. It just doesn't work all the time. But he just constantly just goes, and he'll be like, okay, I want you to think about this, this, and this today. I'd be like, got it, coach. And he lays out the plan, I'll follow it to a T. And he's just amazing. He's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool dude.
He sounds okay.
No, he's also like blonde hair, blue eyes. Like he's pretty awesome. And I always told him, I was like, so his PRs has always like been way bigger than mine. And I was like, hey, you haven't lifted. I was like, rule is I can't be stronger than you.
Yeah.
So, and he just sits there. He's like, I haven't lifted in a year. I'm not doing it anymore.
Oh, that's cool.
Suck him back into lifting a little bit more.
Yeah. What do you wear? Do you or have you worn the breath belt while you throw?
Oh yeah, I love the breathe belt.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. What? Where? Like, how did that come about? Is that common, or do throwers wear that usually, or like
So
what's the story on that?
Actually saw an athlete wearing it, and I remember seeing it. I'm like, that looks pretty cool, because I used to wear the chic belt, and I was like, that I always liked it. It was good, but I felt like I wanted more like a hug and something that I can hold in, and that kind of still gave me freedom to move and not so stiff, but at the same point, like it covered my back perfectly that it wouldn't cause me to break. And I saw this guy, he was throwing with it, and I was like, that's interesting. I was like, I'm gonna order one. So I ordered it, and I have been using it nonstop since I want to say 2020. Nonstop since 2020. I think I have like 20 of them at the house, and I just kind of rotate them in and out, and I love them. It's definitely, and I reached out to the guy, and
I was gonna say, does he know that you wear that? Because he would be very interested.
He's gonna come to Eugene. Yeah, he's gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. It's just something like where I can hold it. I take a nice big breath, I hold it out, and I make sure like I position, my right foot in, because it's constantly, that's the one you want it to be turning rotation inward. And I'll rotate that in, and then I just breathe belt that in. Another big breath. Pop that on, then we're good to go. I use it every lift. Anything I do, that's kind of my thing. I love it. It's great. And he messaged, he's like, you made it so cool, because like now like throwers are using it everywhere. But I would say like it started out with an athlete named Sean Donnelly that I saw, and then I took it to the world stage, I guess.
Oh, that's cool.
But now like throwers are buying it in droves, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So what are the rules around like extra pieces of equipment, things like that? Like, I mean, as far as a belt goes, could you wear anything you want? I mean, could you wear other stuff? Like what do they let you do there?
So it also depends, like, so you have a uniform that they give to you so I'm with Team Nike. So they'll send us out a kit each year. So typically, like clothing wise, it is Nike. I can have one patch on my uniform, which I'm with the New York Athletic Club as well. So I have like the winged foot on the other side. And the belt that's kind of like, it's just more of an accessory outside of the clothing gear. So I'm kind of more like allowed to it, but since it does have like the big breathe belt on the back, a lot of times during any major championships, they duct tape it, because it's not a sponsored event through USA, like how Nike is. Like I think it's like Nike, Gatorade. It's really, really tricky and way above my pay grade.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Are you familiar at all with Highland Games?
Yes.
Have you ever done any of those events? Like, I mean, obviously it wouldn't be your focus right now, but like, does that interest you on any level that you would ever mess with that?
It does. It does. I actually have quite a few friends here in Indiana. Thor and his daughter, I call her Mini Thor. They do the Highland Games, and they own the Iron Pit here in Bloomington, Indiana.
Okay.
And they have tried to get me to join with them. When I retire, I'll probably take that up.
I would think even when you decide to retire that you'd instantly be in a front runner for world champion. Like,
yes.
I don't think that's an exaggeration either.
No, I assume that would not be an exaggeration. Yeah. Have you seen the hammer throw in Highland Games is a rigid handled hammer, and they
Yeah.
have you seen the boots then with the big
It
spikes
has
in the
like
front?
the PVC pipe,
Yeah.
and then the boot, it's like a metal pitch.
Yeah, it's a metal spike because in the hammer you don't get to rotate, you're stationary, so
You have to like really like wind it around.
yeah. Yeah, I'd pay money to see you do some of those events. You'd probably just be shattering records instantly.
Oh my gosh, it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I 100% would love to try that out when I'm done.
Yeah. Tommy, what do you think about overrated, underrated? Should we jump
yeah,
into
let's
that?
do it.
Okay. We've got this special game that we play with every guest that we all, in addition to the special Mount Rushmore game, this is maybe even the more special game is overrated, underrated. And we have a hand-picked set of topics that are just for you. And it's just your job on each one to decide if it's overrated or underrated. And the most important part to remember is you can't ride the line. You have to pick, is it overrated or underrated? And these are all super serious, like not fun topics. So,
Oh no! Okay.
no, just kidding. Okay, so
I was like, oh no, I'm losing connection.
this is where we forced you to talk about your political views and a bunch of other stuff. No, overrated or underrated Peloton.
Underrated. I like the I have a Peloton. I love it.
Yeah.
I actually, only thing like they're the butts. Okay, like let's get bigger butt seats.
Yeah. So do you ride do you use Peloton a lot?
I do. So I was 275 pounds at my heaviest, which was in 2017. And then I got down to 235. And then when I got injured, I jumped back up to about 250 because I couldn't do my sprints anymore. Just that compound of just and this past year, my husband was just like, hey, like they have this thing where you can rent a Peloton to buy and see how you like it. And I love it. It's definitely, I do it as a warm-up. I do 20-minute classes to 30-minute classes, and it's just something that it loosens my hips up. It gets me going for my weightlifting and for my throwing. It's just something I could stay on it, and it helped me critically, especially I have Signos, so it is a glucose monitor. And so anytime like I'd eat and I'd see a spike, I'd go down to the bike and I'd bike for 10-15 minutes. It lowered my glucose, and then it actually helped me lose weight. Just the combination between the Signos and then the Peloton, it was 10 out of 10.
So you're actually using your Peloton multiple times per week then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, it stinks because I sit there and I'm like, if I've already biked 3 times in the day for 15 minutes, I look at it and I look at the piece of cake and I'm like, ooh, do I need this?
Yeah. You also have a doggy treadmill then too, don't you?
I do. I do. I have a doggy treadmill right next to me for my dogs, Maverick and Bella. Maverick's a little overweight and he's not very nice to other people, so he doesn't get to go outside for long. So I have to put him on there. I have to kind of encourage him. His sister Bella, though, she'll just get on that thing and she just loves it. So it's yeah, I definitely invested in the doggy treadmill. So whenever I bike, I put one of those little cutie furry butts on the treadmill right next to me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're on Team Nike, so overrated or underrated Jordan 11 shoes, the Jordan 11 shoes.
Ooh, I think I actually just got them. I think they look pretty cool. So good.
So you're saying underrated then? Is that your?
Yeah, I think they're good. They send me a pair each year.
Yeah.
I just put them in a cute little glass case, and I put like what year they were.
That's pretty cool.
What team I made.
Yeah. So is it always like a pair of Jordans?
Probably one of my favorite things they sent me was actually it was Air Force Ones, but the trim was gold. This is what I want. The trim was gold and then the buckle was gold. And I love those. Those are hands down my favorite shoes. But they sent me this really interesting pair. It was like furry Jordans, and it had like little fur, and it was like leopard print. I was like, it's not my style. They're nice. So I think they're very, they're just unique and really cool. Definitely something that I'd be afraid to get them dirty. I don't know. Like, I mean, I understand like how I walk straight legged and there better not be a cloud in sight if I'm wearing them. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Overrated or underrated kidneys? Plural, maybe it's plural kidneys, I guess. If you say two of
They're
them.
so overrated. Kidneys are you only need one. You'll be fine. You just drink plenty of water. You'll be good.
So why does is it kind of, you get by with one?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you are, but then why does everyone have two? Like, what's the?
So it's just how your body filters. So
Okay.
ideally, how your body kind of especially like with diabetics, the sugar processes through the kidneys.
Right.
And that's one thing that I do have to be extreme. That's why I do have my glucose monitor, is I need to make sure that I'm not going into that danger zone. So that's why, like, when I do eat sugar or eat something like a cupcake, it's basically like me eating two. And just and it doesn't help either, like my best competition body weight is 232 to 235 pounds. And being, ideally when I'm done, I can drop down into like the 180s and be at a healthier body weight and takes less stress off the kidney. But for competition purposes, my perfect body weight is at a higher range. Anytime I got under 220 or like in the 220, even in the 220s, it is trash. It is
like
awful.
does like the hammer throw you around then at that point?
And get that momentum, and when you get off, I mean, like just your body weight will drop. I usually try to drop into the 220s in fall season, so I try to be a little bit lighter than during comp season. I gain weight back. But some athletes, they do great. They like, and that's what's nice about the hammer. You don't have to be a particular size. There's a girl that she's like 180, 190 pounds. And then, I weigh about like 232, 235. And there's girls at like 240, 250s. It's definitely a big range. It's just what body weight works for you and how fast can you react to that ball.
That makes sense. Okay. Last one, we saved the best one for last. Are you a bit of a painter?
Am I a what?
A bit of a painter? Like
yeah.
You do some painting? Okay, so great one then here. Overrated or underrated Bob Ross?
Underrated. I love Bob Ross. Let's paint a brush. And I just sit there and I look at him. I'm like, how did you do that? It might like this.
So you don't do that style of painting?
Do what?
You don't do that style of painting?
I tried and it's terrible. It just doesn't work. Yeah. I'm definitely more like draw, but I kind of do like some oil paints, and they just don't look that good. They just don't look that good.
Well,
I'm like, how did he just make this beautiful scenery and mine looks like a murdered dog?
well, and he does it in like 20 minutes too.
Yeah, it's
somehow.
speed.
Yeah.
I sit there, I'm like, okay, like, let's talk. Is your paintbrushes wet? I think I see like how is the canvas wet? Like, right. I feel like you need to go more into detail, sir.
Yeah.
Let's come back to life so we can talk about this.
Yeah. Good news. It looks like you passed overrated, underrated. So that would go really well with,
gold
world
medals,
championship medals and sort of thing. It would fit great on your trophy case with them probably.
I was like, I'll just have to get like a nice little plaque and I'll put it right up there.
Yeah. Yes. Do you have a cool trophy area then? Like
so we moved last year. So we actually turned one of our rooms, it's at our old house. It was so cool. And we're wanting to do it to our basement. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little lazy on those type of things where it's just like, I want it to look cool, so I want to do it correctly. Mm-hmm. And I have a bad history of putting holes in the wall and it not looking great. So, my father is coming. He's a carpenter and he's going to come down actually this weekend. So I'm going to try to convince him to help me put some of those up. But it was actually my therapy room. We turned one of our spare bedrooms into a therapy room. And what we did was we split the walls And it was JC's accomplishments were to the right, and then my accomplishments were to the left. And then our equal accomplishments were like on the faces. And it was so cool because like we just had like every USA team that I ever made, I had a jersey up, JC's, us being at SIU, me and JC both made a San Jose, Costa Rica team together for Team USA in 2015. So we both have our jerseys up for that. Him winning Drake relays, breaking the, record there. And I mean, it just, we had everything sprawled out. Every medal event that I medaled, you get an American flag. So there was like a big, like a super cool kind of, oh gosh, what is it called? Like a lip over the door. And it was just enough little area. So then I had all the American flags stacked up in their cases. And each had a picture of just me and JC together and everything that we've accomplished. And we'd have a huge whiteboard and we'd write down our goals and what we needed to do. And yeah, it was definitely, we had like hooks from the ceiling where I was doing like my banded work, and gosh, it was crazy.
Awesome. When's your next meet?
So right now I'm signed up for Tucson, Arizona. So that is May 4th. So if my throwing is looking great, I'll head out to there and I'll throw in Tucson. If I'm a little shaky, to me, I don't like flying West Coast all the time. So, like just going back and forth, it's not good on your body. So May 4th will be Tucson, Arizona. If I'm not quite ready and in a position where I want to compete at a higher level, then I will stay home and compete again in Champaign, Illinois. That'll be May 4th. And then I have a meet. I'm trying to decide if I want to do LA Grand Prix, which would be May 18th. And then I got Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, that's Prefontaine. That's May 25th. And then Ironwood is June 1st.
So these start going pretty fast here.
The big enchilada is Olympic trials is the 21st and 23rd, day 1 and day 3 of Olympic trials of June.
So in like 2 months, you could do like 6 to 7 meets or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I try to do every other week. It's a lot. It's a lot because you want to keep up your training and you want to keep up, the tension of the ball and your connectability. Usually like before trials, what we'll do is I actually am flying out to Eugene pretty early. So I can just train there, get focus, start seeing, do visual cues, and really kind of just do those mental reps. But it gets intense. Like the Tucson, Arizona meet, that's a big one. It's a big meet where a lot of big fish come to. But if you're not ready, there's no skin in the game. If to me, it's all just warming up. So, I'm just kind of like, if I want to go to it, I'll go to it. If not, I'm completely fine with staying home and putting money in the bank by getting those reps. And I think that's the key that JC's been really, really good about is, don't chase the money. You stay home, do your work, focus on what you need to do. And then, because, they only take top 3. That's it.
Right.
There's 15 girls that will probably have a standard. And it just takes one day to have a bad day. You just make sure it's sure and hell ain't you.
Right.
Sorry.
So everything you're doing now is leading up to the Olympic trials, though. I mean, that's what it's all about right now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And we won't. This has been awesome having you on. We won't take up that much more time. But I was wondering one other thing. When you threw that 80 meters, did you know right away when you released it did you know immediately that it was a bomb? Then.
So. Fun fact about that. I think 2 throws before that, I went 79.98.
Okay.
And my husband, he was right behind the ring. Because if you watch it, I'm like waving at I could see him, so I'm waving at him, smiling. And I threw the 79.98. He's like, yeah, he's screaming. It's so loud. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's such a good throw. It must be a good throw. Because he's freaking out.
Right.
So, but when he yelled really loud, he like popped something in his chest. And he goes, it was the most, I couldn't breathe. He's like, it just hurt. He goes, so when I threw the 80-31, I was trying to listen for him.
Yeah.
And he didn't yell. And I was like,
Oh, must not have been very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, that's not a good throw then. And so I was just sitting there and I was like, you see, like for some reason, like when I'm thinking, like my hand goes like for like some reason I'm like tapping my fingers. So I'm just sitting there, I'm like, huh, okay. And so I walk out and I'm sitting there and I was like, all right. I'm looking at the screen, and how you know it's a good throw is how long it takes to come up on the screen.
Okay.
And so I was sitting there, I was like, they haven't came up with it yet. Okay. And I was waiting. Finally, I was like, okay, I turned my back, and then the crowd actually saw it first and said 80-31. And then I turned around and I was like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. But no, I like at that range, when you start hitting those like high numbers, it's just a split second. I mean, you could do something right or wrong within a millisecond. And it's the difference between a 78-meter throw and an 80-meter throw. It's so close to call that you just don't quite know.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's so you in theory, like you could have let that go. You wouldn't have been shocked if someone would have told you it was 77 meters then, like just based on the feel of it, because you can't tell. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if it was like, I'd be a little sad if it was 77. But
right.
Because like I usually by the release, I can kind of tell if it's a good throw, and I hit the release well.
Right.
There's just days. I mean, this past weekend, I hit a throw, and it was 73-80. Was it 73-80 something? And I was like, ooh. I was like, I thought I hit that pretty good. And JC's like, you're not turning all the way through on your turns. And it was funny because like my last throw, I hit it and I was looking out there and it didn't feel good. The throw didn't feel good. And I was like, well, I'm probably going to foul this. And then I started sitting, I was really looking out there. I was like, is that the 70 line or is that the 80 line out there? So, and then all I hear is my husband yell at me, get back.
Yeah.
So I stepped out, and that's when I threw the 76-56. And right now I believe I'm number 3 in the world right now.
Okay.
Last weekend, number 3 or number 2. That's one of those two.
Okay.
Which I think like, well, all I know is all 3 of us right now are at 76 meters.
All right. Well, this is great. We really appreciate that you came on and filled us in on this. I feel like we have a way better understanding of this than we did before. And now we'll get to be cheering you on for the next couple of months leading up to June then too. We'll be rooting for you. So we hope to see it all go well for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. And I'm glad that, we have the connection through the Build Your Base program. And I wish nothing but the best of luck to y'all. And if you guys are ever in Champaign, Illinois, let me know.
We come through once a year on the way to the Arnold Sports Festival in Ohio. We drive. So we always drive.
Champagne's always one of the stops.
We'll at least wave to you next time.
Yeah, we'll wave through the car window.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Go USA.
Yep.
Thanks, DeAnna.
Thanks.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
Those are gold. USA gold cool beans.
Straight up gold cool beans. I feel like if she wins the Olympics this year, we can call it safe to say that that's the Massenomics effect.
I'm just going to say,
or wait, the Olympics, yeah. Right.
We had Big Ken on last week. He breaks an all-time deadlift record. I'm going to say we're putting DeAnna in a pretty good position.
Yeah. This is going to be just the thing.
Just say she's getting set up to bring a pretty good package to the Olympics.
I think so. Beef, it's what's for dinner. I think they need to do more beef, it's what's for dinner commercials again.
Bring it back.
Who's the guy with the big mustache, the actor with the...
Yeah, I know.
Is that him that did those commercials, or is that just...
Actually...
I mean, it was just a voice.
In my mind, it was him, but it probably was just a voice.
I don't think it was him, but he's kind of... I think that voice was just slightly different than that.
Probably.
What's that guy's name?
I'm looking right now.
He was on like that Ashton Kutcher show that was on Netflix. Too.
Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
And The Big Lebowski.
Yeah. And just a number of good movies too. But like, did you ever watch that Sam Kutcher or Ash? Did I say? I'm getting confused.
You said Ashton Kutcher the first time.
Yeah, the ranch, I think is what it was
No,
called.
I never did. No.
Okay. I don't think you'd like it.
All right.
I'm gonna be
Well,
honest.
thank you for
Don't
saving
put
me
it on
some
the
time.
watch list. Yeah. Don't put it on the watch list.
All right. Just crossed it off the watch list. It's
Yeah.
been removed.
You have to read Manacled before you watch The Ranch. Big news just in, Timberwolves just won game 2.
Oh, that was okay. So that's I mean it's on the
we had
list.
to start recording. It was about tied at half, and I had to leave at half so we could record this.
They did.
So.
Do you know what the score was?
Yeah, Jack just told me it was 93 to 105. I don't know the box score.
It's another pretty solid performance. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what I wanted to hear all about the game. I had the kid. My wife was working this weekend, so I had the kids, so I couldn't really watch. I got to watch basically all the second quarter. And not much besides that. But when I was watching, I'm like, dude, the T-Wolves are firing on all cylinders right now. They're looking like a good basketball team.
Yeah, maybe you should read an ad, and then I'll
good call.
just mention
the
the experience a little bit.
Yep, because I want to hear all about that. Today's show is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes. Most shoes harm your mobility by over-restricting your foot's natural movement. Bearfoot shoes are designed with minimal restrictions so your feet can move the way they're supposed to. Move with more strength and confidence in every step. Bearfoot Shoes was founded by Chris Duffin, who attributes proper foot biomechanics as foundational to his success in squatting and deadlifting over 1,000 pounds for reps. He helped create the company to provide a minimalist shoe that can be worn for anything from deadlifts to walking your dog. Go to www.barefoot.store to check out the best minimalist shoes available. And while you're there, make sure to use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. That's barefoot.store. Code Massenomics will save you 10%. Thank you, Bearfoot Shoes.
It's Barefoot. Yeah, there's a few Ursonomics left. I actually put that out, and I think a lot of those.
Yeah, it looks like
good
people
sizes have been sold now.
Yeah,
so.
people were instantly like, "Oh no, mine's gone again."
yeah. So you can try, but I think there's like 7 pairs left. Like there might be some like 8s or 9s or something.
I'm really curious because they're going to be at Home Gym Con, right?
They're on the list. I guess we haven't talked to them about that. We should ask them. But
I'm curious to see what this new one.
I want to see that in person. I was hoping they were going to. I looked that up and I'm like, God, I kind of want that one. I like the look of that.
I mean, that's the shoe you need for half the year in this part of the country.
That would be the one I could wear. Like I could wear that one to work pretty regularly too. You know, I wear my Bruin all the time, but you know, during the summer maybe I would switch it out for like this one. So we went to the Timberwolves home playoff opener, and I've never been to a professional sports playoff game of any kind.
Also, let's be real, Minnesota isn't exactly have a long history of high playoff performance either. So.
No, and not getting the home seed but I've never been to a playoff game of anything on a pro level. It was different. Because the last couple of years we've gone to a few of the regular season games and it felt way different.
Well, because that was your takeaways. You're like, it's cool, it's an NBA game, but also like Giannis isn't playing.
None of the good players play, and it's still it's an awesome thing to take your kids to, and it's just an experience.
But you're not getting the top product that's available.
Right. You're not getting the top product, but there's a lot of extra stuff. Like it's like a professional sports game is a part, like an NBA game is partly a performance of all the in between halftime, like all the performances. Like there's like so many. It's like also a circus. Yeah, you're at an NBA game and there's a circus like every 10 minutes. So that's taking a kid to that is still really fun regardless. But this we got to see like the best of the best. Trying their absolute most. And so is the Timberwolves versus the Suns. If anyone paying attention, they would know that. But so is Kevin Durant. I've never seen him play in person, so that was kind of a bucket list one. I've gotten to watch LeBron and a bunch of these other ones, but I haven't seen Kevin Durant ever, so I was kind of wanting to. He was one of the ones I'm like, I'd really like to see him play before he's done. And that it was jam packed. First of all, it's never been empty when we've been there before, but it was sold out completely, and it was a whiteout game. So they gave when you walk in, we show up early, and they have like the white T-shirt on every single seat in the arena, and the whiteout, and then they give everyone a white towel. So when it is like going nuts in there, it is pretty cool. Like even if you weren't that into the sport, you would just be into the
spectacle.
I compare it
of
to
it.
this. Like there's a lot. I'm not that into music compared to other people, but almost any music that like a large group of people will agree that is good. If I see that in person, I'm like, well, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what there would be in person if you have like a good spot and you're with everyone that's having
Right,
fun.
you're like, this
that you'd be
still
like-
sucks.
Yeah. I'd be like, I don't know what it would be that I would be like, this sucks.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. There's probably something, but my point is like, it's just the experience, and this experience, even if you didn't like basketball, I still think you'd be like, okay, I'm pretty excited about, I don't even know what's going on. And I can just tell that this is fun. So it was pretty wild. And it was a good game. They ended up beating them by 25 points, but it was a good game the entire game, basically. And yeah, nobody needs a lot of my basketball notes other than Anthony Edwards is crazy.
He's just, and isn't he like 23 or something?
I think he's
that?
like 24 now, maybe. I hope he sticks around Minnesota for a long time. If he does, people compare people to Michael Jordan, and that's always been the comparison ever since Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan, is like, who is that? And I'm not saying he's as good as Michael Jordan. That would be to be determined, and probably I would just also never say that anyone is because of my era and like what I am, but he reminds me of him, unlike any of the other people ever reminded me so much of him, where I'm just like, that looks like Michael Jordan playing, part of it is just like his particular size and the actual way he looks. He kind of actually looks like Michael Jordan.
He does.
But it just does remind me a lot of that.
Yeah, it looked like his stats, I mean, from that game looked like he played a damn good game.
Yeah, but so now they won their second game. They fulfilled the home court needs. Here they go. Got to win one, and if they win one, then it's over. Then it'll be.
Is the first series?
It's all sevens now.
Oh, it is. Okay, it is all sevens.
Yeah, it used to be different, but it's all sevens. So, that's about it. I'm excited about NBA playoff basketball. NBA regular season basketball on TV is not interesting. Like I said, in person is always a cool experience, but I love the playoffs. I've been watching that when I can, and that's good. But but I did stay at a different hotel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what? There was a bummer.
What?
When I don't know if there's also a Twins game going on or if it's just because it's the playoff game. But I pulled up to that big public parking ramp, and they were all completely full. So I'm like, oh boy. And the traffic was pretty wild.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Saturday.
Especially it's a Saturday downtown. I'm sure there's concerts and other things.
And I was getting a little flustered. I'm like, oh my God, where am I going to go now? So I eventually just like kind of got a spot parked like on the street in front of the hotel. And this is downtown. When I say downtown Minneapolis, you are like
actually in front of skyscrapers here.
Yes, there's skyscrapers everywhere you look. And I'm parked in a spot that I'm probably not supposed to be parked in. And I'm like, I don't know. We got to park here. And I got to go into the hotel and be like, where can I go? Like to be able, and they're like, well, we have valet parking. And I'm like, great. How much is it? I'm doing it no matter what you say.
I can't think about this anymore.
My stress level, like I stressed, that was like a 25 minutes of high level stress anxiety for me. And they're like, oh, it's $55. And I'm like, great. My pick, it's out there. You'll just go get it and take care of it. They're like, yep. I'm like, sign me up. $55. You could have said $5,500. And I probably would have. If it means I don't have to go back out there and figure out where to go and then how to get back here.
Yeah, I believe that. You don't want to be messing around with that, especially after you've just been in the car for like 5.5 hours.
And it was the Embassy Suites Hilton. Really nice hotel. Really nice hotel.
Yeah,
and,
that would be a step up.
Really good. But
we're Embassy Suites guys,
but the price was, and it must be a really old hotel too.
Oh,
but it's really cool. But the breakfast was like an A+. They had like an omelet bar and like legit, actually real scrambled eggs and like real food. I was like, oh my God, this is so worth it.
King of the castle over here.
Yeah, I'm well influenced by a good breakfast with the hotel.
Yeah, well, start your day off right.
Yeah. Any other good notes? You know, the drive. I get to listen to podcasts and stuff on the drive. So
Was there
doesn't
any
really bother me.
equipment exchanges that happened on this trip?
Okay, so equipment, and maybe we can transition away from this trip to just like more our general equipment updates. You know, mine and yours.
Okay.
Both.
With that being said, you know, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but would you, if possible, go to another Timberwolves game this playoff season if that was an option?
So I desperately would love to. I mean, I could do it. Like, it's just a decision of, do I want to spend another X amount of dollars?
I'm just saying, like,
on the
if they
trip?
made it to round 2, let's say, would you be like,
Or the Western Conference Finals?
Oh,
I mean, they're
that-
going to
I
make
mean-
it to they're going to make it to round 2. I think it's almost they're going to have to lose, 4 out of the next 5. So it looks good. But in round 2, unfortunately, now after the second game, they're going to be playing the Denver Nuggets.
Really? They'd get the
gave
Denver Nuggets
next round.
Is Oklahoma the
because-
1 seed or?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's really scred. I desperately wish on the matchup that they would be hitting Oklahoma in the second round, and that somebody else could take one more crack at Denver before they have to play them, because Denver is an absolute buzzsaw. Joker is just so ridiculous. It doesn't even make
I
sense.
know, I know.
It defies reason. I can't describe what it is. He understands the game at a very high level. But yeah, so like, say they did make it to the Western Conference Finals. I also don't know what would happen to ticket prices.
Right.
I've got a lot of thoughts when you ask me that. I can't even come up with I can't even get a clear sentence out. But so it's not a cheap trip. And we've talked about this before. Like, just to go to Minneapolis and do anything, whether it's sporting and I say Minneapolis because that's the place for us that we would go if you are close to some other metropolitan area.
The closest major metro is.
Right. And also, so it is travel for us. So there's going to be a hotel, there's going to be gas and time expense, and then like whatever the activities that you're doing. So I take my oldest son, Jack, we go with, so it requires 2 tickets to whatever we're going to. And it's well worth it. Mm-hmm. And I would love to do another one.
Yeah.
But also it'd be a big commitment for me in that short a time period too, to be like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's spend that again. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could be talked into it probably because it's worth it. There's no doubt in my mind after this. I'm like, also the ticket prices for round 1, game 1, were not that much more expensive than regular season ticket prices.
Okay. I suppose, when they're playing decent, those tickets are a little bit more in general than what they are when they.
And we sat on the lower level like we have before. We were just a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to stay in the same budget, we had to go lower level still, but just
back a little
higher
bit,
level. Yeah. But it was still great. So I would love to, but it's just so damn expensive.
Yeah.
And I've the older I get, the more I have to rationalize this thing of like, in the past, it's hard for me to wrap myself around the logic of spending a lot of money on experiences rather than things. It's easier for me to wrap my mind around spending a lot of money on a really valuable thing.
Oh,
it's harder for me sometimes to rationalize spending all the money on an experience. Mm-hmm. But the older I get, I think the more I value the experience.
Yeah.
And especially if my kids are involved, I'm like, well, this is like just a memory that we'll have forever.
It is.
So I put more value in that. But you don't have a thing after you spend the money, and sometimes I'm like, well, that money disappeared.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it didn't, because you do have a thing, you have like a memory and stuff. So I don't know. That's the thing, that being a cheap person, that's a mental exercise that or a hurdle that I have to overcome whenever. And like, so so this $1,000, it's gone now. Where's the thing?
The thing is, you get to talk about it on this podcast. That's the thing.
Right.
It's all for the podcast.
Right. And some people probably don't analyze it that much or think about it.
No, I know the feeling. I do that too. Usually for me, though, once the money's gone, I'm like, all right, it's gone. Now I'm having fun. I don't have to think about it anymore.
No, and I there again, I would say it was really, really well worth it. But then if I just have to think harder about doing it again in a short period of time. Yeah. So to be continued. I wouldn't say it's impossible.
We'll just say if they make the Western Conference Finals, though, you might be looking at ticket prices just to see what's going on.
Or just think of then if they make the finals.
Yeah, well, okay.
But the ticket prices for the
insane,
finals, the ticket. I would assume ticket prices for finals would be insane then.
Yeah, I don't know how they
like
could.
I wonder if they're like 10x even, or like that might be extreme, but like if they could 5x. I wonder if a $200 ticket is then $1,000.
I was going to say, do you think the cheapest ticket is $500 or $600 for the finals?
Probably at that point for the finals. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's $500 for the upper deck. Maybe $300 or $400. Maybe that's wishful thinking. Maybe they are all over $500.
Yeah, I suppose it also depends on like what teams are in the finals.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah.
Like if it's the Knicks and the Lakers, it's like, I'm sure the cheapest ticket is just insane. But
yes. So there was, I did talk with Diet Me.
Oh.
Which I'm also not sure now that I'm kind of Diet Me. I don't know if Diet Me is
two
Diet
diets.
Me. If he's like, maybe I'm Diet Me and he's
just me.
Yeah.
If I'm me, then who am I?
Yeah. And I talked to him on the way, and he was busy working and stuff, so it didn't work out to grab the Alico bar that he's got. But that's okay. We'll get that later. I just figured as long as I was going to be there, I might as well check. I wasn't actually broken because I didn't really want to do the extra running around
and all
anyways.
the extra driving.
Yeah, but if it would have worked, I would have done it. So I didn't do that. But I can't remember anymore all the different equipment things we've talked about, what we've talked about on the podcast and what we've talked about.
Well, I might remember if you tell me.
Well, let's talk about yours first, the Elite FTS Safety Squat Bar. Did we talk about that on the podcast?
Yeah, we did.
Week,
yep, that was last week. We talked about that.
Okay, so you bought that though, right?
Yep, it's supposed to be here on Thursday. So you might be here for the arrival of it.
Right. And we got to talk about that because we got more content coming up from that. So then I got some transactional parts of it to go through yet, but it does sound like I have a big haul of high-end used strongman equipment.
Yes.
That I got bought.
Yes.
That is so in that deal I have a MB Power Center 12-inch log that, assuming I get that we'll use that at the 2024 Lift Hard Live Easy Classic Strongman.
For people that don't know, like the MB Power Center stuff is like primo strongman.
Yeah, we're talking a $900 log. And then a MB Power Center top-loaded farmer's carry handles, which are also, very nice, sought after. Then the MB Power Center Globe Circus dumbbell. I don't think they make the actual Globe ones anymore that you unscrew it and they're plate loaded inside of there. And then a Rep Fitness yoke. And then a few sets of crash pads and stuff. I think that's everything.
So a pretty major strongman upgrade.
Yeah, the strongman corner of Massenomics Gym will get an enormous facelift from that stuff. That's all really nice, really expensive.
I mean about the nice of the nice as far as that stuff goes, right?
Right. So that's pretty cool. And then last night, something came up, and I think used. I should be getting a three. This is gonna blow the barbell number.
Oh God! Here we go. Here we go. Let's hear it.
Whatever number we talked about, this alone is probably gonna along with other ones that have been bought, and this will put us over the over-under.
It actually might be hard to even count how many actually showed up this year.
Yes, because this one is going to be a 3 barbell deal where it's a used Texas power bar, Texas deadlift bar, and Texas squat bar.
Is this the one through Jake? Did Jake?
Yeah, through Jake. Well, Jake is the guy's name. He was a member at Massenomics Gym, but it's in Brookings.
Oh, okay. Because I thought Jake Heinrich sent this one to me. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, it's cool, but I can't add 3 bars to my gym right now.
Yes. The guy's name is Jake, and he was coming to Massenomics Gym this last summer, and so they're in Brookings. So Jake, I think, is going to take delivery of those for me. But it's and I think the deadlift bar is the orange Sierra coat.
Okay.
Orange, which whatever.
Yeah. What's the finishes or what's the what?
I don't even actually. I think the squat and power are both black zinc.
Okay.
But Jake, the Snake, Heidenreich, has a red Texas power bar, and he said he might be interested in trading for the black zinc one. And I told him, I really don't care either way at this point.
Well, how many black
Because
zinc just original ones do you have right now? 2 or 3?
3, 4, I think, counting the 29 millimeter.
Oh, yeah, because didn't
like
Ryan Anderson add one in like a year or two ago? Yeah, because we had the 2 original forever.
Right.
Yeah, then the 29 millimeter. Then, yeah, I think Ryan Anderson brought that one a year or two ago.
Yeah, and those bars, we don't have much use for the power bar, but it was just part of the deal, and it was a good deal, so I'm like, I'll buy that too. But I was more interested in the squat and the deadlift bar because it gives us a couple more bars for the Lift Hard, Live Easy warm-up room this summer. So now I think we have enough. I was talking with Dave, between what he's got and what I've got at the gym, we have enough to have, the 2 platforms plus 6 warm-up stations of power, squat bars, deadlift bar, enough for all the warm-up stations to have the correct bar.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So those 2 deals aren't technically done yet. I haven't paid for them. I'm waiting for them, to schedule the delivery, because the Rapid City ones, they're going to sit at my sister-in-law's in Rapid until I get there.
Because the strongman stuff's in Rapid, which is like 6 hours away. So it's
right. So I'll get them, but it's
and then you got an Alico bar in Minneapolis. You got a York dumbbell somewhere in the greater Midwest region,
Indiana-ish, Ohio. Yeah, and these couple deals. It's about, I don't know if I'll be in for about $3,000 of used equipment, and this was all equipment that like a week or 2 ago I didn't
exist.
Yeah, and I just wasn't in the market for. But it's just, and like when it's really good equipment and it's at a good deal, that's when I'm really interested.
You just can't say no to it, right?
I couldn't afford not to, actually, is maybe the way to put it. I couldn't afford not to do it. Like that log, just that log in that deal, to get that shipped to me is $1,000.
Yeah.
Like $997. And I didn't even know I wanted that until I started talking about this. And then I talked myself into how I need it.
Yeah. It is a really nice log, though. Like, you kind of are... Unless you're going to get some major, crazy, huge log, it's like you're kind of just, you kind of got the log covered. Like the log's good.
That's the way Massenomics Gym is at this point, where it's like, if I can upgrade things to the best version that exists, that's what I really feel good about, because then I'm like, nope, now I'm done with that. Like, we're good there now. Like, there's nothing left. There's not another step to go to.
Well, the second step would be multiples then.
Right. That would really, but like practical. Well,
but then you can start to be really picky when you're talking multiples,
Right. So that was the main equipment stuff I had on my end. I wanted to make sure we talked about your safety squat bar. Have you any big marketplace deals of the week?
Well, we do have that. I'm going to say though, no, I have not ordered anything additional, but I did some major garage. I bought some more stall mats this weekend, did some garage reorganizing. My dad was here. We were hanging stuff on walls, cleaning things up. So I didn't want to hang my banners up until I knew where my speakers and my wall control was going. So now
did you hang up your wall control and stuff?
I got my wall control up. I got my speakers up. I got just about everything out. Really, the only thing on the floor now is the Matador, and I'm realizing how much room that damn thing takes up. And Rogue does make a little wall holder for it, and I'm like,
you could see the value.
I've actually scraped the finish on it already, putting it on the floor, because the bottom foot of my garage is like the cement forms of it, and just leaning it against there, it's starting to scrape white. Leave like the last time I went and picked it up, I'm like, what's all these white marks all over it? I'm like, oh, the cement. The painted cement is leaving marks on it. So I'm like, okay, probably should get this thing off the floor. So, so I got some major cleaning, expanded the footprint a little bit, not too much, but expanded the footprint of things a little bit. So it's a little bigger. So now, it's just, get that safety squat bar here. I thought I had something else coming.
So how many more stall mats did you buy?
I bought 2 more. I bought 2 more. Yeah.
And you were able to match them up.
Well, I did it kind of funny actually. So I have, they're sitting horizontal. They're 4x6, so it actually ends up being 6 feet wide, 8 feet deep is how it was originally. And what I did is I just slid that over, and then I put the other one sideways. So I had them sideways. So those ones go out to 12 feet now, because they're they're the long way.
Right.
If that makes any sense. And so that goes the long way, which actually works better because my wall control comes out a little farther. It's when you see it in person, it'll make a little more sense. But that for the gym, that's the current positioning. So that'll be the way I take it for now.
Okay. And so have you hung any of the banners then?
No. So that was all. I got all that stuff. What day is it today? Tuesday? Yeah, it was Sunday night. Moved the rack or got that stuff hung up on the walls, the other things. Put the new stall mats in, which meant I had to move my rack, which meant I had to take all of the weights and everything off it. And then you're trying to move this rack, which is a pain in the ass, and then move the stall mats in. So I got that done. Yesterday, I actually just had to lift. I didn't have time to mess around with any more stuff. So banners are still not up, but maybe tomorrow, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
Also doesn't work very well that my wife has to work nights tomorrow now. So that means I'll have to work all day, and then I have to have the kids. So maybe after they go to it, I'm on a tight schedule right now. We'll see.
Right. So it's coming together, though.
It is
Sounds
coming
like it's
together.
And you were talking some stereo stuff and
talking some stereo stuff. Yeah. I have that big old Sony stereo system, and I really didn't want to put that massive, the 3-disc changer with all that other shit. And it's like a 20-pound thing. It's this massive box. And I'm like, I do not want to hang that thing up on the wall when all I need is the aux. That's all I need is the aux cord.
Right.
So I think I got a little stereo amp that you can get off of Amazon. It was on sale for like $40. I think that's going to solve my problem. It's like, I mean, it's small. It's like little. So that should be here tomorrow too. I'm hoping that solves my problem. If it does, then the whole setup just got cleaner and nicer. And then I can really, really focus on getting strong then,
Yes. That's probably what's been holding you back a little bit.
I think so.
Do you have any of the feeling when you're in there right now, if you're lifting, that you're like, maybe I could mess with this in between my sets? I'm
always doing the thing where I'm kind of tidying up and pushing things around, and I'm that is totally a distraction. It's it is.
That's my life for like the last 8 years.
Because I know you always talk about it. You're like, my first thing I do when I go out is I set all this stuff up, or I just like move things around, and I don't really have to do a ton of that. But my kids also, my boy loves the bands. He thinks the bands are the coolest thing ever, and he wants. The game he wants to play is you take the green band, he wraps it around him, and he wants to run in the yard while you pull him against him or spin him around, and he thinks it's the funnest game in the world. So usually the bands
does sound pretty fun.
I mean, it is, yes. And so the bands are usually laying in a pile, and I got to kind of reconfigure those. But wall control's nice though, getting everything off the floor up there. I got the little shelf for the wall control, which is kind of nice too. So
how deep of a shelf did you get then?
I went with I believe it was the 6-inch. Which is enough to, you can actually lay your phone, the farthest or the flat, and the whole thing goes on there. So
6 inches is above average. That's what I always say.
That's right. It's all you need. All right. Do we want to talk Facebook Marketplace deal of the week?
Yeah. What do you got? Any deals of the week?
I actually think, I'm no pricing expert, but I might have found what I think is a smoking deal, actually.
It might be the deal of the week.
This actually might be the deal of the week. And
is Coop selling it again?
No, but funny enough, this did come from Kansas again. So people in Kansas know how to price things. All right, first we're going to go with the not deal. Actually, I think this is a terrible deal, but I actually don't know what the price is on. Maybe the market is stronger on these than what I know. Okay. A Schwinn Airdyne exercise bike. You're familiar with those. They're all old and antique-y. What does one of those things get now?
I don't know what those cost, if they're like worth $100 or $200, $100 to $200.
Okay. So this person had it listed for $200, and I was like,
200 feels like the top end to me.
That's
when you can
what
buy a new Rogue or an off-brand or a different brand version for $600 or $500 or it might be worth $200 if it's good though.
That's what I didn't know if 200, like to me that seemed like the very top end. I figured like those things would get 100 all day, but I didn't know if 200 was still in the market of possible there.
Maybe it's got to be really nice to be worth $200 or something.
Okay. They just look it just looks like an antique though in your gym.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Okay. So that was the first one. But this I really do think is the deal. So I'm going to read to you what's going on here because there's something of note about this. So the title on the item is Rogue Power Rack, and it says items being sold listed below. A Rogue Monster Rack. So this is it's black, just like the racks in the gym, except 1-inch holes, except it's black instead of red. So black Monster Rack. Set of J cups, the safety straps, a 45-pound Ohio Power Bar, an adjustable bench, a set of bands from Amazon, power block dumbbells with stand, 2 45-pound plates, 2 35-pound plates, 2 25-pound plates, 2 10s, and 2 5s. Everything is in good condition, willing to deliver if needed. And there's a disclaimer on this. And the disclaimer says, because I didn't think about it when I bought the set, I had to cut the rack to shorten it down to fit. Normally it stands 90 inches tall. This stands at 83 inches tall. I'm not stupid, but this says otherwise. It's what the person wrote.
That's funny.
When I look at the picture, though, it looks like I can't tell that they actually cut it. So it looks like they did a good job, whatever they did. But that whole lot. So we got the rack, the power block with stands, all those weights, the bar, an adjustable bench. The bench is, it's an adjustable Rogue bench, actually. What do you think they have for a price on that?
Oh, I wasn't really adding the stuff up in my head when I said that, but you said it's a good deal.
I think it seems like a good deal. I'm actually curious. Where it's confusing, though, is the item description just says Rogue Power Rack, but then it says items being sold listed below, and it's all of those things. So I'm assuming, wouldn't you take that as they're selling all these things together?
Yeah. Are they selling it for $1,800, $2,000?
Lower.
Oh, $1,200?
Lower.
$800?
$1,000.
$1,000. I am wondering about that rack. So he cut it down to 83 inches.
Mm-hmm.
That is just under 7 feet tall is all.
Yeah. When I look at the
that's pretty short.
It is. When I look at where this guy has the J cups, I mean, it's damn near touching the touching the header on the back.
That would be a freakishly short rack, I feel like.
But also at that price, though, you could just buy uprights. Just buy the uprights from Rogue.
Well, for $1,000, if you're getting a Rogue power bar, an adjustable bench, and just the plates, you kind of get the rack for free.
Well, okay, the power block alone goes for like $500 for the damn. And this has the stand.
So where was this from?
This is in Missouri.
Oh yeah, someone will get a good deal there.
That is a good deal. I mean, everything here looks like brand new. The Rogue bench, the adjustable bench, I think their adjustable bench is like $600. The straps, the safety strap set is like $250 from Rogue.
Right.
Power bars $250. I mean, this. If you don't care about the height thing, some people that won't even matter for. This is a smoking deal here.
That is a smoking deal.
And then can I give you the runner-up for deal of the week?
Yeah.
This was brought to my attention by Big Bryce, the beast from the Southeast.
Oh, yeah.
He sent this over to me. And
one of our top 5X models.
In Sioux Falls here, someone is selling 3 good condition used toilets, $20 each or $50 for all of them. Just in case you're in the market for some toilets. They are white.
Sometimes there's interesting color, like it's like pink toilet.
I mean, they're not like the seats are up. They're not like pristine, but it is it is supposed to be a white toilet. So
yeah,
those are out there in case someone's looking.
Well, you can never have too many toilets.
No, can't overdo it on the toilets.
They make really good planter beds, I think.
I'm sure they do.
How about a little supporting our supporting members?
Let's do it.
Okay, this is a segment we do each week on the Massenomics podcast. It's our chance to give back a little bit to those that give to us. So we have our supporting members. If you're unfamiliar with our supporting membership options, where the hell have you been? We've been talking about this for weeks and months and years. Get your ass signed up, damn it. But we would like to have you sign up if you're at all interested, if you've been a listener for a long time. And if you're just sick of getting this podcast for free and you're like, damn it, I want to pay for this. How do I pay to get this free podcast? That's how you do it. Go to our site, massenomics.com/join. That's where you can find our different options on the supporting membership. Get stuff like access to our Discord community. It's the only way you get access to it. You can listen to the podcast live. You get early info on drops and everything else that we're doing. And there's a special discount code that's just for you. And this week on our supporting members that we want to give back to, Big Kayla from Western Northeast South Dakota competed in a jiu-jitsu tournament, and it looks like she got a medal. I don't know what place for sure, but there was a medal involved, so congratulations on the jiu-jitsu. Massenomics gym member, Big Kayla. Then we had Big Colton from down in Crew Falls. He competed at the Caveman Classic Strongman, and he got 4th out of 20 in his class. What a class. 200, including a 230-pound max log press, which was a 30-pound PR for Colton.
Very nice.
Well done there. Then big financial planner Jeff, a Florida man, went 6 for 9 at his meet. Nice. That included a state record for Big Jeff, Florida man.
Real grinder on the bench, man.
That took a while.
That's impressive. You don't see many people fight it that long.
No. Then we had Big Ben, Big Matt, and Big Chief Sampson all competing at Big Dave's King of the North powerlifting meet in our neighbors to the north in North Dakota. So we had three crew members competing: Big Ben, Big Matt, Big Chief Sampson, and then it was Big Dave was running the meet. And I'm not sure how Chief Sampson did, but I guess if anyone, Chief Sampson is a chief in the Army National Guard, and he's a Master Chief or something. I can't remember what his rank is, but you call him Chief. So it's Big Chief Sampson. And then I'm not sure. I don't have the numbers on how he did, but I do have Big Ben. He had a 507 squat, 325 bench, a 408 deadlift for a 1240 total for Big Ben. Big Matt hit a 474 squat, 286 bench, 573 deadlift. Those looked like all PRs for a 1333 PR total. So King of the North looks like a lot of fun was had. Looks like they were all living easy afterwards.
Yeah, that's what
and
it
I'd
looked
love to
like.
see that. It almost looked like a mini Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic.
Yeah.
Then Big Hogan was the guest this week on the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, where they interview a supporting member each week. So you could also get in on that if you become a supporting member. If you haven't listened to that, go give it a listen. Unpaid and Underrated. Find it on Apple Podcasts or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Thank you to our supporting members this week. Tommy, I'm headed your way Thursday, just a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to I'm going to get a training session in this garage.
Okay, I was thinking about this. What are you lifting on Thursday?
I think I would probably just bench, I guess, for simplicity's sake.
Okay,
maybe what I do.
Because this didn't cross my mind earlier, but I am limited on bars and space, so that does make lifting together a bit of a challenge.
Right.
We'll have to think through the logistics of this.
What are you going to do?
I was going to be deadlifting, but my deadlifting goes pretty fast because it's not.
Well, that's
super
also
heavy, so.
I'm not benching that much. I'm kind of on a deload I'm on a deload this week, so
okay.
I'll probably only do a few sets of bench anyways. So I'm not concerned about it.
Okay.
I think we'll be able to
We'll figure it out.
Manage through that.
All
So
right.
yeah, that's not that
We only
big of
got
a
one
deal.
bar to work with, so
Yeah. I don't think that's a big deal. I think we'll get that.
All right.
Get that pinned down anyways. And we're going to be shooting some other videos right there too. So there'll be a training vlog that comes out of it, along with a few other videos.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, man, these last few days have been pretty damn nice. You get the garage door open, you get the music going, and it's like, man, I'm basically lifting outdoors. This is amazing.
It's a vibe.
It's actually a lot of fun. It's the most fun I've had lifting in quite a while. It's been a good time.
So hopefully it's nice on Thursday. It probably will be. So
I hope so, actually. Better check the weather here. Let's see. Thursday
and as soon
is
as
showing,
that gets done.
Yep.
Oh yeah, what do we got?
Thursday is showing a high of 69. Nice.
It's fate.
Yeah, of course.
And then we're heading off to French Lick that evening to go to.
Okay, did I see something about us presenting an award? Was that?
I think we get to present an award.
Which
award was it? Like
is this at a
best new?
Was it Rookie of the Year or something? Is this at a dinner or is this for Instagram?
I think it's at the dinner.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
are they going to have a teleprompter we can read off of? Do we have to do some type of, everyone kind of has to like do something that kind of plays to their things. Do we have to do like a skit to like go with before the presenting?
I don't know if we have to, but I think we definitely are. I don't think anyone else is going to do a skit.
Oh, I'm new at this. I've never done this. And like we're going and then we're like, these are the rookies of the year. Everyone's like,
I think
where are they going with this?
We are the best award presenters there. Like what is Like, we weren't expecting a comedy show. Get the hell off the stage. We want to get through these awards.
Okay. You guys are 10 minutes into this and you haven't read the winner yet. What's going on here?
Yeah, we are presenting an award, a prestigious award.
An award for the best company ever.
And joke's on you guys. We're giving this to ourselves. I'm throwing away whatever this card says, and it's going to us. Massenomics wins all the awards. Give us those damn awards. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Home Gym Con, and the rest of it to be continued, I guess, on Home Gym Con.
Yeah,
right?
don't
we talked about it beforehand, but we don't. We'll
don't
know
totally know what to expect. Just gonna run into some people we know. Hopefully, check out some cool equipment. I'm way more excited about that than I would have been 6 months ago. You know,
it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be not that stressful. So
should be pretty chill.
Yeah. Pretty
just
cool.
Just gonna make sure we turn those microphones on.
Yeah. That's about the only thing we could mess up at this point. The only thing you could mess up on is not going to thestrengthco.com. I mean, thestrength.co. Actually, I messed up. It's funny, I was talking about messing up. I messed up the website. It's actually thestrength.co. That's where you will find the American-made Olympic iron plates and barbells that we've come to know and love, particularly the Olympic iron plates. Also, the bumper plates. Been using those at Massenomics Gym. I don't use them as frequently, but I almost see someone use them all the time when I'm there. So they are getting their use, and they've held up very nicely. So they've got their bumpers that they came out with this year in 45s, 25s, and 10s, and we've got a few sets of each of those, and they've been a good addition to the gym. But they do not replace my favorite, the E-coated, black, smooth, easy to grip, tight tolerance, best plates on the market. The go-to plates of Massenomics Gym. What more could I say? What more would need to be said other than that? And check all of those out at thestrength.co and let them know that your good friends at Massenomics sent you.
And this episode is also brought to you by SwissLink. Since 1995, SwissLink has been importing military-issue goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. SwissLink is home to the authentic Wavian fuel cans. They're from the same factory that has been making these so-called jerry cans for the NATO forces since the 1940s. Made from 0.9 millimeters of cold-rolled steel, Wavians are the highest quality gas cans on the market. SwissLink has decided that a high-quality water can was needed as well, so they developed a stainless steel can to match. It fits all your Wavian jerry can holders and is made from food-grade 304 stainless steel, so you can trust it to carry your drinking water. The cap is knurled for a good grip, and the spout screws into the bottom of the cap for convenient storage. A vent at the top ensures a good flow, and the can has the same three-handle configuration as its fuel counterpart. This is another addition to SwissLink's exceptional collection and their dedication to quality customer service that distinguishes them from the rest. Enjoy a 15% discount on your next purchase at SwissLink.com by entering code MASS at checkout. That's MASS at SwissLink.com to save 15%. Thank you, SwissLink.
Anything else we want to cover on this one, Tommy, or should we bring her on home?
That is probably about it.
All right, Rick Deer. Make sure to check out our Drink Spotter XL that we released here last week.
It's been lighting the world on fire.
Yeah, so if you've only got the original Drink Spotter, and you've only got the Drink Spotter Lite, I think it's time you get the three-headed monster. Get yourself the Drink Spotter XL. It comfortably fits Hydro Flasks, Stanley mugs, Maker's Mark whiskey bottles, I don't know, everything that could ever fit inside of things.
Everything ever.
Will fit. Yeah, and it's got a very powerful magnet that will hold a lot of weight. And I love the Drink Spotter XL. I would highly recommend it. Everyone checks one out. Also, our merch. We've got a lot of merch for sale right now. No hats, so you don't have to worry about buying a hat. But there's a lot of tees, some shorts. What else am I looking at? Socks. We got a decent amount of crew length socks right now. Our black and gray ones. I do like those.
I love the black and gray ones. I wear them all the time.
Check out those. Some deadlift socks that we have still. Not a lot of those left if you want deadlift socks. We have a few pairs of deadlifter shorts, a few pair of black lift shorts, and the long sleeve pocket tee. My personal favorite. If you haven't bought one of these yet, you are a buffoon.
A horse's ass.
Yeah, you are a stupid, pathetic horse's ass. So go grab one of these long sleeve pocket tees. It's a beefy pocket tee. That's it. We'll see y'all when we get back from home gym con if we live to tell the tales, right, Tommy?
That's a plan on it. We'll also be, though, we might not be recording one of these on a night for a while now, right? Because we're going to knock out a couple episodes at home gym con.
Yeah. We could not be doing this for like 3 weeks
or so.
Yeah. So when we get back for that, so this is 421. If we come from there with 422 and 423, 424 is going to be a banger because we're going to have a lot of stuff to like
talk about.
We probably can't have a guest that week.
I don't think we could. Yeah.
Yeah. So be on the lookout. Well, really the next two, be on the lookout for what comes out of home gym con. Honestly, like we don't even know exactly what those podcasts.
If that's the case, that basically ties our record for. I mean, that might be the record for the longest we've ever gone without recording episode like ever.
I'm gonna get the shakes and withdrawals.
I won't know what to do. Well, hopefully we see you on 424 then.
Yeah. Blaze it +4. Tommy, where do they find you at?
Find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird. Just make sure everyone stays safe while we're gone, and we'll catch you in the following weeks from home gym con.
See ya.